Hi everyone, it's Stephen from Valued Accountancy, and today I am absolutely delighted to be joined by a very good friend of Valued, a very good friend of mine as well, Jason Knight of Blue Kangaroo. Hi Jason, welcome to Valued in their own words.
Thanks very much. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm still getting used to this working from home, even after nearly 12 months, isn't it? But yeah, it's strange times. It's strange times still. A lot of people thought we'll get New Year out of the way, we'll come back and everything will be fine. The magic injection will be here and we'll all be up and running again, but things have changed. What about yourself?
I'm good. I've gone through different stages throughout the past year where I think when we first talked about lockdown, I thought, well, it'll be 3 months and then we'll be back to the office. And then as it's gone on, I think, we've been lucky that the team we have sort of settled into working from home. I think I'm probably the one that struggles the most out of everybody because I'm more of a people person and I like to be around people and I like to bounce off people and, get different ideas. And also I've got a few people who are sort of mentors to me who I like to go and see for a coffee and have a chat and so it's good, but it's I prefer to be back to normal.
Definitely. And can you see a time when we would get back to normal from a business point of view, Jason? Or?
Yeah, I do see us getting back to normal. What that normal is going to be, I don't know. I think there's a lot of we've talked about this before. There's a lot of people saying, "Oh, we'll never go back to the office and we'll never do this." And I personally think that's a load of rubbish. I think people will need to go back to the office at some point. Maybe it's not full time, but we've got people, manufacturers who have to work in office space, and I think it's good for people to mix with other people. So I do think we'll get back to normal. It just might take a little bit longer.
Yeah, fantastic. Speaking of offices there, I can see you're in your home office by the looks of it, but you have some amazing things on the counter, on the benches behind you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Blue Kangaroo and what you guys do?
Yeah. Well, the stuff that's in here is the stuff that my wife won't let me in the house, so that's why it's in here. So Blue Kangaroo, we were this year's our 15th year in business, which starting to make me feel a bit older, but we're a design company based in Gateshead. We work all over the world. I think the last time I counted, we worked in something like 12 different countries. And we're lucky enough to work with some of the biggest names in the film, entertainment and toy industry. All of our staff, bar one person, is based in the Northeast. Suppliers that we use are based in the Northeast. Again, I've got one in Leeds. And we're very passionate about bringing work back up here and keeping it here. We're lucky enough to work with people ranging from, Walt Disney right the way through to companies like Hasbro. And we work on some of the biggest licenses and film franchises out there. So things like, Star Wars, things like, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's we've got an interesting, varied stable of clients.
An interesting, varying state of clients. That's a bit of an understatement. Yeah, that is a bit of an understatement. The names you've just mentioned there, I think that's the who's who of most businesses that would love to be dealing with this type of client. Yeah, they'd love to do that. What advice? I know this isn't. It's kind of off script a bit, but what advice would you give to somebody that wants to deal with a different type of organisation?
I think you've got to pick, not necessarily just an organisation. You've got to pick an industry that you want to work with. We sort of when Blue Kangaroo first set up, we worked in the social housing market. So we worked with people like Your Homes, Newcastle, South Tyneside Homes, because it was at the time, I wouldn't say it was easy money, but there were companies, and I decided this from day one, that we would work with organisations who you knew the money was safe. And at the time I had a business partner, and when we'd worked together previous to that, we'd worked with people like Walt Disney. But I was very conscious that if we were going to do that, we weren't just going to go and steal our ex-employees' clients. So I'm a great believer in you've got to do the right thing, and it's not just a case of, right, I'm going to chase after somebody's clients and go after them. So the first big client we got within this industry was Walt Disney, but it was the Disney stores. And again, we were really lucky that we met somebody down there who sort of took us under his wing, kept us busy, kept us with plenty of work, and he sort of introduced us to other people. And then what's really happened is somebody left Disney, went to Warner Brothers, rang us and said, "Do you want some work?" You know, in the 15 years that Blue Kangaroo's been going, I think we had a salesperson for about 7 or 8 months. And we realized that having a salesperson didn't really work within our industry, because the majority of our work comes word of mouth, or it comes, you know, somebody recommends us to somebody else. And that's how we've sort of embedded ourselves within the licensing and toy industry. And I suppose you've got to do good work to get that sort of reputation.
And that's one thing you have got, and the guys at Blue Kangaroo have got, is an amazing reputation in the industry. Yeah,
and that's purely down to the team that are at Blue Kangaroo. It's not me, because I don't do the creative work. It's down to the designers, and I've got a director of creative strategy, Paul, who he keeps everything together, and they do an amazing job. So it makes my life really easy.
Definitely. I know years ago I got told by a good friend, always surround yourself with people that are better than yourself, so that you're always challenged. And I think that is something that is very, very timely at that point. Obviously, if anyone's watching this live, if they want to ask any questions to Jason, feel free to post a message on the page there. With a bit of luck, it should come through on the chat here. I've also got Facebook open next to us as well, just so we can capture that. We had a few technical issues the last time as well. But feel free to say hi. Great, as always, to see who's watching it. And if anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm sure Jason will answer as many as he possibly can. Mm-hmm. So going back to what the purpose of Valued in their own words, it's to get a bigger understanding of challenges that business owners have had. Sometimes we've all been there where people say, right, I'm going to set up a business by myself. Everybody automatically thinks you're going to be a multimillionaire and you're going to work 1 hour a week or whatever the extremes may be. In reality, it's really hard at times. It's really satisfying at other points as well. Mm-hmm. But what would you say is your biggest frustration with the industry that you work in, and how did you solve that?
I think my biggest frustration is my clients are based in all over the world. So, it's not like we're a Northeast based company, which is, I'm not saying that's a better way of doing it, but I'm petrified of flying. So, people who have flown with me will tell you they'd rather probably sit at the opposite end of the plane than sit next to me, because I'm a fidgeter. I look out the window. I don't like flying, and it's a huge frustration for me because I love to go and see all these people. The industry that we're in is an ever-changing industry. One of the biggest frustrations I have is we can't talk about what we do. There's plenty of agencies out there will tell you what they're doing, and they will put it all over Facebook, and they'll tell you on LinkedIn and Instagram, and they'll put a snippet of the work they're doing. But we're not like that, and I think that's where our reputation comes from, that we're very conscious about confidentiality. So some of the work that we're working on now might not be out for, say, 2 or 3 years, and I can't tell people that. I can't show them, I can't show them the stuff that we're doing now. So that's a bit of a frustration. Apart from that, we're in a pretty decent industry. Yes, we've got a lot of issues at the moment where people are being made redundant, or teams are being changed around, so we've got to try and keep how we keep up to date with everybody. But we're very lucky that we work in such a good industry.
Fantastic. A couple of comments are coming through here as well. Johnny Reed's asking, is it only branding design that you do?
No, we do all sorts. So we still do production work. So we do everything from experiential work, where we'll design experiential stuff that goes into shopping centres. We'll build it, install it. We do exhibition stands, retail environments. We do all sorts. we're not sort of specifically just doing branding work.
Fantastic. We've also got Darren, who has posted, awesome to hear from an amazing guest in such company as well. So thank you for that, Darren.
Yeah. I'll give you that tenner, Darren, that I can clear you up.
So one of the questions I love to ask is, if you could go back to the beginning of your business, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give yourself?
I think it's something that I've done from day one, is surrounding myself with good people. I'm sort of one of the people where I wouldn't change anything that I've done from day one. You know some of the challenges I've had over the years, Stephen, and I think them challenges sort of make, and it sounds really corny, but they make you stronger when you have to go through something that's been a difficult stage. So that's a pretty tough question for me, really. I don't honestly know, and that sounds awful. I don't honestly know what I could say, because I've been making something up. It is literally, sticking to what I've done so far. I've been very lucky that, it's funny. I used to work for a guy called Keith who owns Shire Moor Press, and I'm one of them people where my circle of friends, is very, very small. Mm-hmm. And Keith's always been my sort of go-to person. And I was working for Keith as I was setting up Blue Kangaroo, so it was a bit sort of, I was out working for Keith, but also doing the Blue Kangaroo thing. And when I told him I was leaving, he gave me some amazing advice, and I've sort of listened to the advice that people gave me then and stuck to it. Mm-hmm. And we've sort of, Blue Kangaroo is where it is today because of people like Keith, people like you, a guy called Chris Crissione at Equinox Design in Leeds, and they're the people that have really sort of helped me to get to where we are now. But again, the staff that I've got, I learn from them every day, and they're the people. So surrounding myself with a good team has been really, really important.
Fantastic. Just spinning that question slightly, if someone was to come to you and say, and I know you and I did a little bit of mentoring stuff with college a while ago, what bit of advice would you give to somebody that was totally new to setting up a business? Somebody that was just thinking, right, you know what, I've been made redundant through the pandemic, I'm going to set up a business. It can be any industry whatsoever. What advice would you give them?
Go for it. Don't be afraid, because I left school with no qualifications. I haven't got a single qualification to my name. I'm a bit dyslexic. I'm not the sharpest tool in the box, but what it is, I've gone out there and I've believed in what I'm doing, but also believed in the people I'm working with from day one. I believed in the people I worked with, and whether the people are still with me at Blue Kangaroo or not, they helped build the company to get it where it is to at that stage, and then we've built it on top of there. Don't be afraid to go looking for the bigger customers, because let's be honest, if I came to you and asked you to part with 20 grand, I'm going to have a lot harder job getting money out of you than I am getting money out of, say, a huge entertainment, because they're working on budgets, they're working on, they have to get projects done. Whereas with you, it's your personal money.
Yeah.
So it's a little less sort of clinical to get the money out of the bigger businesses. I'm not saying that's the easiest way to do it, but it's believing in yourself and just going for it. And the students that we worked with, I bumped into one of them. I don't know if I told this, but I bumped into one of them recently, who was a young girl who I worked with at a school. Mm-hmm. And I was asked to work with these kids because it was the school that I went to, and I was that kid before I left who had no interest, wasn't bothered. And I bumped into her, and she was going to university to do design, which made me feel really good, because again, I'm not a designer, but if I can infuse somebody, then go for it. But yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid for rejection. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, and don't be afraid to make a complete mess of things. I've done that quite a few times.
I think that's it, though, isn't it? Again, when you start on business, everyone thinks that you're perfect. You know all the answers. You've read all the business books. You've got that degree in business. Nobody has that degree in business, or very few people have that degree in business. Most people look at the set of accounts and go, what the hell does that mean? Yeah, most people are really good at what they do, but actually,
I personally don't think it's something you can teach somebody. You know, we're in a climate now where everybody seems to be a business consultant. You go on LinkedIn, everyone's a business consultant, everyone's a pandemic expert, or they're a, you know, working from home expert.
Yeah,
I honestly believe that, you know, you get on with it, you get your head down. Nobody knows my business better than me.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody knows your business better than you.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, rather than people always bringing in consultants to tell them how to run their business, or consultants to, you know, do whatever, it goes back to the surrounding yourself in good people. I remember getting my first VAT return and ringing up Keith at Shinemore Press and saying, Keith, I've got a VAT return, what do I do with this? You know, it's daft things like that, and that's, you know, you learn from.
Yeah, no, it's very true. So moving on from that, what's your proudest moment as a business owner?
Not missing the staff's wages once in 15 years, by far.
Yeah, I had a feeling you would say that.
That's by far my proudest moment. You know, we've got a team who basically are passionate about what they do. You know, don't get me wrong, we've had a few close scrapes where clients haven't paid their bills or whatnot, but I've always tried to be savvy with the money and keep some in reserve. You know, yes, winning the big customers and winning the big jobs is a really big thing, and it's a very proud thing. I was lucky enough to win a Board of Trade award, where at the time there was 3 of us in the country had it, and again, that was really proud. But it was an award. I'm not a, you know, I'm not a big person for awards and, you know, entering awards and all this sort of stuff. So definitely my team are my proudest moments.
Fantastic. So just picking up on something else that you talked about there, winning the award, what advice would you give to somebody? Because you are a real ambassador for overseas trade. You know, the DTI use you as an example. They put you on the pedestal. They've had you talk at many events. You've won the national award. What advice would you give to people that are wanting to export, people that are wanting to go out into other countries?
I'd say hone your sort of skills first. You know, be the best that you can be in your industry, and make sure that you've got the sort of infrastructure and the support to do what you do. Because, you know, when you go to halfway around the world to speak to somebody to sell your services, you've got to make sure that you're really good at what you do. Because let's be honest, there's probably 100 design companies in the Northeast, if not more. Globally, there's probably hundreds of thousands. So why should, you know, Universal Studios in Los Angeles give work to Blue Kangaroo? So, you know, you've got to really be good at what you do. You've got to go across there. And, you know, I'm very lucky that if I sit in a meeting and somebody says, can you do this? You know, I'm always honest and say yes or no. But if I say yes, I know that I've got the support behind me, who I can pick up the phone and say to Paul, you know, we've got this job, can we do it? And, you know, it's the Blue Kangaroo, we get on with it, and, you know, we take the problem away from the client. I also think you've got to be prepared to work the extra hours, because just because, you know, it's 5:30 in the UK, you know, that's only what, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the US. You know, they expect you to answer emails at 11 o'clock at night. If you go the other way and we've got a client in India, we've got clients in Hong Kong, China, Australia, you've got to sort of be servicing them clients 24 hours a day. One of the things that we sort of push is all my clients have got my telephone number, my email address. You know, if they want to speak to me, they can come to me. There's no sort of filter that they've got to speak to somebody on reception and, you know, book in a time or whatever. They'll speak to me direct. And again, that's really sort of, you know, cemented our relationship. We're doing a thing at the moment where some of our clients are giving us testimonies And one of our clients has basically said, you know, she doesn't understand when we sleep because we make her feel special. And we, you know, if it means getting back to her at 11 o'clock at night, if I'm awake and I see the email, I'll reply to her. So, you know, it's just going above and beyond, really.
No, that makes sense. So just touching on that, sorry, I'm going totally off piece from the questions we're going to ask now, Jason. Yeah, to be honest, I've asked most of the questions that that we're going to ask just in conversation there. But how does working 24 hours a day fit with a work-life balance?
We don't technically work 24 hours a day. We technically work, you know, it's different now that we're all working from home, because some of the team will happily answer an email at 11 o'clock at night. They'll happily, you know, because it's fitting in with their home life balance, and it's something that we're having to look at carefully, because I don't want people burning out. You know, we're in a time where people expect, you know, responses. They expect, you know, I'm sure if we said to our clients, listen, we only work between 9 and 6, they'd understand that. But the fact that we're prepared to jump on a Zoom call at 7, 8 o'clock at night because that fits in with their day, then, you know, they're going to come back to us, because, you know, we just offer that service so we go above and beyond, you know. So if I'm on a Zoom call at 10 o'clock tonight, then I might have a bit of a lie-in tomorrow, just depending on what's happening.
No, fantastic. And feel free, anybody else that's got any questions for Jason, feel free to ask any questions. We'll go for another couple of minutes, I think, if that's okay.
I think, so on the export thing though, speak to the Department for International Trade. You know, there's advisors. It doesn't work for everybody. You know, I know a few people it hasn't worked for, but speak to them, because they can give you information about, you know, what's happening in various countries, trade missions, all this sort of stuff. You know, I'm a Northern Powerhouse export champion, so I'll quite often talk to companies who are thinking about exporting, not necessarily in my industry, but just giving them the experiences of, you know, tax issues in various countries. You know, there's lots of different bits of information that you can pick up from people.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Jason. One of the questions, or one of the other questions I want to ask you, and I had a meeting with you the other day, and you mentioned this line 3 times in that meeting. We were talking for maybe an hour, something like that. You've also mentioned it today. We take away our clients' problems. What does that look like? What's that really?
I think it's as simple as it sounds. You know, somebody comes to us with a need for a product to be designed, or, you know, a timeline to be hit. If we sit on the call and say, well, you know, we're not sure, let me get back to you, then, you know, they haven't got the confidence in us. You know, the good thing about Blue Kangaroo is we do like a workflow report every week. It gets updated all the time, so we know where the gaps are, where we've got people in the team that are sitting. So, you know, again, I can probably say, yes, we can do that straight away, you know, or I can say, give me 5 minutes, I'll get straight back to you. Because a lot of the time it is a problem for them. They've got to get this bit of work done in a certain time, in a certain budget, and, you know, they need it doing. Once we take that off them, you know, I always say to them, right, don't worry now, we'll get back in contact with you in a couple of days. My team are very good at updating clients, letting them know what's happening with the job. If we see any potential issues, if we can do it quicker, we'll always sort of under promise and over deliver, and just do it the sort of the right way. And I suppose it's something I sort of hear other businesses who don't do that, and I won't go back to work with them if I've bought a product or I'm getting a service from somebody and they don't take that problem away from me, and they don't deliver on time, and they don't keep me updated, then I'm not going to work with them again.
Yeah. And that is something. One thing I've always found with you, Jason, is you're an open book. Yeah, people know where they stand with you. If you say you're going to do something, you'll do it, but you also expect that in return as well. Yeah, but also
it is, because it's, you know, I've mentioned Keith at Shiremore Press a few times here now. Keith has been our printer for 15 years. In that time, we've never fell out. we've never had a major issue. I don't look at changing the printer. Could I get it a bit cheaper elsewhere? Possibly. I don't know, because I don't get into the situation where I start shopping around and doing all of this, trying to get a quid off here and a quid off there. It's a relationship, and that relationship, I know if I ring him today and say, I've got a really urgent job, can you do it for me? He'll say yes. And that then reflects on everything that I'm doing. So Keith's one example. Chris at Equinox, the exhibition company. I've rang him literally with days and said, I need something designed and built and in New York in less than a month. And they do it. So it's that circle, isn't it? We all do the same thing, then we all benefit from it.
Yeah, it's that brilliant team that you've got around you, isn't it? It's that
Exactly.
Yeah. So Gwen's just saying, sorry, I joined a little bit late, but where do we see Blue Kangaroo Design?
All over the place. You'll see it in films. We've worked with, so I can tell you a bit about some of the stuff we've done, because it's out in the public domain now. There's a film called Good Dinosaur, which Pixar made. We designed all of the characters for that film, Good Dinosaur. So the way I see it is, they're all Geordies. They were born in Gateshead. You'll see our work in the retail environment. If you're buying, clothes, packaging, toys. There's a new program on Netflix that we've just been working on, which we've spent probably best part of a year working on, where we've done character development and stuff. It's all over the place, all over. And as I say, I would love to have a big website and say, look, this is what we do, and show everybody, but we can't.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things with you guys. Yeah, whenever you say it's just Blue Kangaroo, people go, let's have a look at the website and see what they've done. Oh, there's not a lot of stuff on there. Yeah, let's have a look on Instagram and see what. Oh, there's not a lot of stuff on there either. But it's one of the best kept secrets. Oh,
do you know something? That is one of the selling points, because I did a call about a year and a bit ago, and this guy on the Zoom call really pushed me to tell me what one of their competitors was doing. And he said, do you work with this company? And I said, well, we might do. And he says, well, okay, tell me what they're doing. And I says, no. I says, I wouldn't, we wouldn't even consider doing that, And he pushed me for about 5 minutes. And then at the end of it, he just said, good answer. He says, because I don't want you telling people what we're doing. Yeah. And we don't tell people what we're doing for other clients. We've got a portfolio of work. Again, it's always 2-3 years work. It's old because, the IP in our industry is worth a lot of money. And if any of it goes into the public domain and we've done it, then, we've got, a massive issue with people. So we just don't do it. And, it's the best way of doing it.
Yeah. Someone just saying there, my daughter loves the Good Dinosaur, and I remember watching it, and I don't know whether, and coming into your office many years ago, seeing a picture of this dinosaur and not actually realizing what it was, but it was a long time beforehand. And then I remember sitting watching the Good Dinosaur with Lucy or Jessica and just thinking, I got a minute, I'm sure that's where. Yeah, but it's going to make you feel so proud.
It does. And we were lucky enough that we got invited to the premiere of Good Dinosaur. We got invited to the premiere of like Iron Man 3 when we worked on that, and Cinderella and all these. We've been really lucky over the years to get to go to these things. I think the problem is, once you've worked on something for probably 2 years, when you actually see it, it's a bit like, oh, I'm sick of the sight of it.
Right.
Because you've worked on it for so long. We worked with a film director called Luc Besson on a film called Valerian. Completely different to what we normally do, because it was a live action film. It was, just completely different. And he was very controlling about what you could and what you couldn't see, and what we could show and what we couldn't. And it just, you sort of takes the tarnish off it a little bit. So when I watched it, I was like, oh, it's all right. But actually, it was an amazing film. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think you just mentioned something there when you came in our office. Everybody who comes to Blue Kangaroo has to sign a confidentiality agreement.
Yeah.
So, we're really tight on that. That yeah, you can come and you're probably one of the only people that gets into the office that far. But I've got to be conscious that you're going to be, confidential, and you're going to be doing this. We're very lucky. We've got a very good online system for all of our backups and all of our, save and work. And I think when this pandemic started, it only took us like 2 days to be ready, because our clients are all remote anyway. I think in 15 years I've probably had about 6-7 clients come and see us. So our clients are dotted all over the world. So we were quite fortunate that we could, remotely work with them anyway.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So, I think that's it for questions, to be honest. So, is there anything else you'd like to say to anybody that's watching, Jason? I personally want to say a huge thank you for you being so open, so honest, so kind with your advice. If anybody wants to connect with you or Blue Kangaroo, what's the best way of doing that?
Probably the best way is LinkedIn. Find me on there. I bang on about this. I am very passionate about the Northeast. And I think one of the things I'd like to sort of get out there at the moment is that, times are tough. Don't be afraid to ask, to have a chat with somebody. Don't be afraid to, reach out and say, you got 10 minutes to have a coffee or whatever, because, I do it all the time. I'm always talking to people, because it's sometimes what I'm thinking might be a bit of an issue or might not be an issue. Then, speaking to people is a good thing. And at the end of the day, the Northeast is the best region in the country. So, we should be proud of that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. So I think, let me just double check. Gwen just said that she's literally just sent you a request there, Jason. So Jason is very, very kind with his time. Probably too kind, in my opinion. We're trying to help everybody, but seriously, he is an expert in his field. He's so talented and will help anybody that he can as well. So don't blag him for too much free advice. Remember to buy him a coffee or something as well. Yeah.
Virtual coffee. Yeah.
Virtual coffee. Yeah. Virtual coffee. Yeah. These days, you can't really do much, can you? You can't do much. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. If you'd like to be on a live session, then feel free to tag yourself in a post below on this. If you've got any other questions you may want to ask Jason if you're watching this on playback, feel free to ask them. We'll get in touch with Jason, or Jason's a member of the community in the groups as well, so you'll probably catch up with it as well. Next week, I'm delighted to be joined by Michelle and Kieran Rose, and we're going to be talking to the guys from we're going to talk to Michelle and Kieran next week. Really looking forward to that as well. But Jason, thank you so much for your time. I really, really do appreciate it. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.